warmed up, so we're not just sitting here. I do this with my students when we kind of play a little quick game, those are quiz questions, but I want to warm you up. That's what I'm talking about today. So, I drive, some of you probably drive, we deal with traffic. Traffic is a thing, right? So what are some current possible solutions that we want to use to minimize traffic? Expand the road, congestion pricing. It's not really right or wrong answer. There is some solution that's already done, right? I want to focus on that one, congestion pricing, right? Congestion pricing actually was done earlier at the beginning of this year by one of these major cities, right? So literally, at the time of day, so you're going to work, you'll be paying a higher total just for just traveling. So which one of these major cities actually did congestion pricing, so they charge you based on the time of day? New York. So imagine you going to New York, and you live over on the other side of New York, like the bridge, or like Jersey. Every time you go to work, you're getting charged a higher fee just to go. Just trying to minimize traffic. That's the thing, right? So this becomes a problem, right? So how can we use smart traffic management to try and improve the things that we face with traffic, right? And what we get from that? We would get predictive insights, enhance safety, cost reduction, improve emergency response, minimize emissions. A lot of good benefits if we start to add some smart management to our traffic, right? Now, I want to focus on that fourth one, emergency response, right? Oh, this is my leaderboard just in case whoever answers fast. One of those at the top. Who's mad at me right now? But let me go a little bit deeper into my presentation here. Cool, right? So imagine I'm a firefighter, right? And I'm John. I live in DC where there's a lot of traffic. And I need to go ahead and get to my emergency as quickly as possible to save you from a fire, right? On my way there, I deal with traffic. I also deal with bikers. I deal with people on scooters, and I deal with Amazon delivery guys. All these people are in my way as I'm trying to get to you, right? So I didn't take it just one step and made an mention of person. John, I actually interviewed about 20 firefighters and asked them what would they like to help solve this problem. This is very much a big problem in DC. They were like some type of warning coming from the car that a fire truck is coming. Or a strobe light sensor that works to turn graphic light greens and integrate that with the car. Or something that comes with your dash that's where like a countdown, 500, 400, 300 meters of emergency vehicles coming, and then just a visual aid. So, taking into account and some of the research that I've been doing, we're at quantum corners. Three-phase transversal application, we now use quantum sensing computing and communications to be able to solve this emergency response problem. Now, this is a lot, so let me try and walk you down into my research connects from that. I want to try and get from this prototype, right? This quantum sensor with some of the materials that I have right here, all commercial off the shelf, integrated with that Opticom device, which is on the top of, that is connected with the traffic light that you see every single day. So now my motivation, right? My background, I'm a computer engineer. My background is working on autonomous platforms. I focus on the SLAM algorithm, more particularly ORB SLAM, oriented rotated brief SLAM, which is one of the most commonly used visual SLAM algorithms. SLAM is simultaneous localization and mapping. So as we locate where our sensor is, the sensor being like a camera, we want to map this around this surveillance at the same time. So say I get an image like this, which is just a plant, I want to map that and go here to give me a map of it, right? Now this map will also be used for the big thing we talk about, object vision reconstruction. Now remember that. So I'll go back to that. Now it's SLAM, right? What we're really doing at the very end, the most confidential part is the bundle adjustment problem. I get a set of 3 points. I want to go ahead and optimize the 3D points that I get and see how close they are and minimize reprojection. Images coming from different camera angles to get that 3D image. Now we have a 3D point and optimizing those values, right? Reprojection area, math. Literally, if you took 7th grade math, you learned how to solve a one-step equation. When I do the one side, I do the other. We do the same thing here with the lever from our quadrant. Only thing is, instead of doing x times 3 equals 5, we're actually using matrices. You can't divide matrices, so you have to do the inverse. You have to multiply the inverse of matrices. That takes a lot of computation. So, what me and Dr. T are going to work looking at is, well, I won't just skip all that mathematical computation and do some neural networks, right? Particularly graph neural network. So where now we can actually look at this problem graphically, train on it, find the optimal points, and go and spit it out, right? And then even, let's play around and see if we can use another neural network, like a CNN and see how it comes out. So we have 2 different neural network structures, right? And we created a truth table to see how would it work if we trained on actual bundle adjustment map points, or or if we got deep in training to level more quality. So that's where we're at right now. But we focus our data looking at the GNN, right? So looking at the GNN. So we have 4 different topics, right? So you see by different pictures. The first one is dynamic objects. So I'm scanning a room and somebody just walks in. So that's a dynamic object. Last one is a robot that's traveling the room. Somebody walks in. Sorry, a robot is traveling the room. Imagine. Third one is handheld. So I'm holding it like this, holding it going around, and I'm mapping the object. Last one is the one we really care about is 3D object reconstruction. So I got that plant, and I'm trying to make that plant look like that on that map. As you can see, the first 2, pretty close. That's what we call strong convergence. Strong convergence means that we actually map close to the actual ground truth. So those 2 first examples are good, right? But the bottom 2, poor convergence, little off. Now the third one might look close, but we're missing a lot of points, so that's why we have a high percent error. The first 2, about 20-something% error, and 10% error and a 20% error. That last one, which just doesn't even look like the image, is at about 300,000% error. So it's really off, but you can see that visually. So we decided if we just adjust our training set, try and get better data, we can maybe get an improvement. And we did. So this is what we looked at first, right? Reprojection error is pretty high on the left, and it goes down over time. So where we get that visible image right there, the same thing that we've seen before. Trained it, fixed it, adjusted, and we got a closer representation of that image. So where we get closer, it looks like more like the leaf of the plant. But still pretty high, it's in the 2000s, right? So now how can we walk it down? I want to get deeper into actually what's going behind the scenes in 3D reconstruction side and feature extraction with images to see how we can actually fix this problem, right? So this is the temporal stack for a 3D reconstruction, right? You got an image, then from that image, you get depth processing in the background, depth image, and then you want to get the 3D projection of that, and then you can make a map out of that, so where now you get a point cloud. Point cloud takes you to a 3D visualization. So the thing that you do if you do like a CAD file, and you do like a still file, and you go 3D print that, that's what comes after the point cloud. So if I have my single image right here, when I'm doing the ORB features and extracting it, I first turn it to grayscale, then I get points off it. Extract all the points, that's what the ORB is doing, right? Now what I want to do is take that, extract a different image, and then map the different points in those images. So these colored lines are, I see this point in this image, and I match it to the same point in a different image from a different angle. That's why it's like all over, right? Now take all these different pairs. The image on the left is always going to be the same original image, right? But I'm switching the image on the right. So now I have these 3 different digital pairs where I have the same image, sorry, the same item, but I'm looking at from a different area. Now, when it comes to a depth image, depth is like we have this type of depth camera, right? So the depth camera is RGBD, like you get the same color image, but you also get depth information, right? So you would have to do like a whole bunch of like math and triangulation to get that, right? But with this camera, you're able to extract that at the same time, so you get 2 sets of images, right? So now this is the depth image that provides the actual like mathematical values where we want to do the feature extraction. And that's the same thing, getting the key points from there as well. Now matching those, this is the same image, but you're matching the depth. So you see, you want to match a point to an actual X, Y, and Z coordinate that we have from measure. And so when we get that, we have image, and we have points. Now we put 3D points. So now we put them together, we actually have a whole extract 3D point visuals, we have a map of all the points from the image, right? Then when we get there, we can turn that into a point cloud. Now we have our point cloud, so we have all the points together, so we're now actually, this has some type of shape, right? This is just off of one image. Then from that one image, we can actually take that and put it into start in our 3D model. Now, it doesn't look like it, it doesn't. But it's the start of us being able to go from picture to 3D model. I can actually put this in a 3D printer at the end and get it out in a half second. Now, one more time with the flow, starting with this image, going to a depth image, then we get 3D points, then we got point cloud, then we have 3D model. Now, what also can we use as a sensor that gives us this point cloud? LiDAR. So typically the LiDAR that I have right here, 2, can give us this type of point cloud. So now, these are 2 different pieces of LiDAR from on a Raspberry Pi, and I know they look very similar. Please remember that. Because now I can take this and extract the points so I can go ahead and put them together. So now I can have picture information plus supporting with the actual distances from the LiDAR, put them together. Now I have a whole wealth of information to be able to map my scene, right? Now, why would that even matter? This is a classic case of just being able to, what you can do with these sensors in these cameras, right? So this is obviously section, which is what we need on the road, trying to back people to find a fire truck, right? This is actually this morning. So this is in our hotel room. Robert was holding a remote, and you can see that they caught on there, they have two different beds, right? So that bed's right there. But it's missing that remote. And even this one, right? It started to catch on that there's something right there, but it classified as a bottle. And at the top, it even says sink. So it's a little bit off, right? We want to be able to look at a whole frame, right? But be able to focus on specific things. Because imagine that's you in the frame, but you wanted to see, oh, there's a fire truck right there, so we can be able to identify it. You want to be able to maybe specifically get around certain things in an image. How can we do that? Let's look at LiDAR one more time, right? But let's create our own LiDAR with quantum LiDAR using SPAD, single photon activated LiDAR, right? So one of the papers I looked at, they actually had two lasers with a SPAD camera, and they were able to go ahead and point lasers. Being split, I'm not a physicist, I'm an engineer. So where they were able to go ahead and recreate two different images based off of the entangled light, right? So when they had the quantum light on, you've seen the skateboarder. When they had without the quantum light, you've seen the car, right? What does that mean? We're able to use LiDAR to be able to extract and focus in on very particular points within the image. So now, like going back to this remote example, I can be able to say, I want to make sure I know that's a remote. Use a LiDAR to enhance the image to where now I can say, okay, I can focus on get that. That's probably like the biggest thing right here. And then we're talking about doing some model training to where we have basically taking all that information, right? And at the top, I don't know if you've seen, but each time I have an image, I have a timestamp. Providing timestamps with all these images and data that we load together to where we'll be able to train this to where now our whole system will be able to figure out which model to use based off of the situation that we have. So if it sees a 3D reconstruction, maybe it wants to use the original sled model or GNN one, but based off of just training to be able to do smart model detection. That's what part we have there too. I'm not getting low on time. So now doing this, the one thing I want to play with afterwards when it comes to quantum is actually looking at how I can put a quantum convolution neural network based off of the NUC to be able to do more, just kind of just fancy to be able to do the reconstruction. But at the very end, right, we're playing around with different quantum algorithms. This is the foundation of our quantum sensor right here. So commercial off-the-shelf parts that we have to get us to this end prototype. So where we're taking this quantum sensor off commercial off-the-shelf, interfacing with the opticon. So where now, every time a fire truck is around, it can sense its sensors off to where now we can go ahead and see, oh, fire truck's coming. That signal goes between there, take that data and we detect. And then how will we use that networking wise on key distribution? But if you got more questions about that, that's fine. But I am.
Lewis, we have to stop it there. Thank you, because lunch is very short. 1 o'clock, so I want to give the